Hey YouTube, what's going on? My name is Caitlin. I'm an incoming first year medical student starting medical school in July, and I was born with a hearing loss. If you didn't get a chance to watch my first video, I go into more detail about the type of hearing loss I have, as well as the purpose of this channel. I'm going to link that somewhere up here on the screen, so be sure to watch that one first before tuning into today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what it was like growing up with a hearing loss, and specifically what it was like being the only member of my family who was born with a hearing loss. I hope that my own experience inspires you to chase your dreams and not let anything like a disability stop you from achieving those dreams. So we have to go all the way back to the beginning, when I was born. And I was born in October of 2002. And so that makes me 22 years old, almost 23. October of 2002 is a very important timeline because just earlier in the year, in July of 2002, a very important law was passed. This was the Infant Hearing Assessment, Reporting, and Referral Act. Now, this act was passed in 2001 but implemented in July of 2002. This act required all newborns to have their hearing tested for early detection of hearing loss. Now, if you're anything like me and you're interested in biology and neuroscience, there is a critical period in development. This critical period is essential for learning development, reading comprehension, speech development, and things like that. The earlier that you can detect a disability like hearing loss, the better you are prepping that individual so that you work on their speech, you work on learning development, you work on their reading. Prior to the passing of this act, there was no early detection for hearing loss. So children would go in age, maybe 3, 4 years old, until their parents realized that something was off and they weren't on track with the rest of their peers. And then come to find out through various doctor's appointments that they had hearing loss. And so this set them back in learning and reading and speech and different things like that. Just as a reminder, I was born in October of 2002. So only mere months prior that this act was passed. And so I was very fortunate enough to be one of the first newborns within my area to be tested through early detection for hearing loss. This started an early regimen of getting fitted for hearing aids. I started early intervention services like speech and learning ASL. If you don't know what ASL is, it's American Sign Language. And so, on top of learning how to speak verbally, I was also learning signs. As I got a little bit older, I started attending a specialized school for deaf and hard of hearing students within preschool, and it was here that I was surrounded by other peers and teachers and staff members who were signing and who also maybe had a disability on top of just being deaf or hard of hearing. During the day, I would go to school and I would be signing and I would be talking, but at home, nobody in my family knew sign language, so I wasn't signing, I was just talking. And I continued to attend this specialized school for deaf and hard of hearing students until first grade, where I started doing half days in the morning at this school and then half days at a public school. Now, this public school was with hearing students, so I had various accommodations like an FM system, an ASL interpreter, and other things like that. If you want to learn more about my accommodations, I actually just made a video on it. I'll link it up here on the screen, so be sure to watch that if you're interested in learning more about my accommodations. So from first grade and second grade, I was doing half days in the morning at my specialized school and then half days in the afternoon at my public school. In the third grade, I decided to transfer from doing half days to completely at this public school where I had, again, my accommodations like my ASL interpreter and my FM system. And it was at this school where I was surrounded by my other friends in the neighborhood that I was used to seeing at home on the weekends. And since I was already so dependent on verbally speaking and I was a really high functioning person with hearing loss and still am to this day, I thought that moving to a public school would be the best option for me, and I thrived. I ended up graduating from this public school and going to college at a small liberal arts college for 4 years. Once again, I had accommodations, but I was with other students who could hear normally. And I had an FM system, amongst other things, no longer an ASL interpreter. During my junior year of college, I decided to study for the MCAT, take the MCAT, and apply to medical school. And this is where we are now, and I'm going to medical school in July, and I'm so thankful that this act was passed in July of 2002, so there could be early detection of my hearing loss, and so services and things that needed to be implemented could from an early stage, so that I could work on my speech, work on my learning, work on signs to get me to where I am now. So let this be a motivating factor for you to not let anything stop you from chasing your dreams. I hope to use my insights on growing up with a disability to advocate for other patients who have a disability or who are underrepresented within the community. And of course, I'm an advocate for all my patients, but I hope that I can be a voice for those who struggle to have a voice for themselves. That's all I have for you guys in today's video. If you did like it, please consider hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to my channel, and turning on the notification bell so you stay up to date on when I post next. Be on the lookout for my next upload, and I plan to post on Sundays at noon. Until next time, guys. Bye!